Hey, what's up guys? John here. I love real estate investing, I love business, and the last year or so I haven't really invested in real estate. I was more of a seller than anything because I always thought, over the last 12 to 18 months, that the market was going to go down. And the market is going down, but I personally think that we're stepping into probably not just a recession, like a normal recession like people are anticipating. I think it's going to be more of like a depression. I think it's going to get really, really bad, but inside of those situations, real wealth is made. I believe a great quote was, the time to make money is in a bull market, time to invest money is in a bear market. And I think that we're stepping into a great time to invest money over the next couple of years. And I'm going to walk you through what's happening, what I'm going to be doing about it, and what I think that you should be considering as well. And today's video is sponsored by my company, GreatCreditFast.com. If you need help fixing your credit, maybe you have high interest credit card debt, you have late payments, charge off, medical bills, bankruptcies, foreclosures, you have something on your credit report that's impacting you, we would love to give you a free consultation to see how we can be of service to you. 561-430-5900. That's 561-430-5900. Now, the media says, we might be in a mild recession, small problems ahead, but here's what's really happening. Austin, Texas. This is a really small example. Austin, Texas. They had a utility outage, right? People think Austin, some people think, okay, they have a homeless problem. Some people think, tech money, there's, the haves and have-nots, right? But right now, they said a fight breaks out at a grocery store after free food hoax, right? Free food hoax. Austin. A power outage resulted in a fight over rotten food in Texas. H-E-B Grocery in Austin said that the power went out last week at one of their stores, which meant a massive amount of food couldn't be kept at safe temperatures. When the store disposed of it in a large dumpster, someone falsely posted on social media about free food was available. Officials say more than 250 people showed up, started fighting over the discarded food. Police ended up breaking up the fight. They have police that are breaking up a fight of 250 people over old meat in a dumpster, right? 250 people fighting over it. That's, I think, where more people are than people realize, right? More people are, a week away from not having any money, right? A year ago, 2 years ago, the market was propped up by stimulus and QE and PPP loans, and there was just so much money flowing around. Interest rates are much lower. The cost of service debt, consumer debt, was much more affordable. Now everything is skyrocketing. The cost of service debt is skyrocketing, right? So during desperate times, people do desperate things. And this is where it looks like we're headed. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon fears market may have prematurely declared victory over inflation. People should take a deep breath. Well, how can we, as a country, how can we beat inflation if the cost of energy is skyrocketing, gas prices, diesel prices, everything is going up, and it's going to cost more to get everything to us? Whether it be clothes, whether it be food, whether it be coffee, whatever it may be, it's coming in on a truck. And if it costs more for the labor and it costs more for shipping and distribution, the only way in which that cost could go down is if material costs went down and labor costs plummeted to offset the increased utility prices, right? The increased gas prices. That's not happening. Everything as a whole is going up. So how can inflation be beaten, right? The only thing that's going to get beaten is going to be the everyday American consumer as they continue to increase interest rates. Now, before I show you this, I'm going to show you something personal. And editor, please remove names, remove anything that, this is something that was sent to me in my personal life, remove anything that, could put anyone's name out there, right? So take a look at this. I was a real estate agent in Beverly Hills for a decade, right? So these communities I know like the back of my hand. Beverly Park. Sylvester Stallone lives there. I mean, like wealthy people live in Beverly Park. Entry-level house in Beverly Park, $15 million. Right? High-end, Mark Wahlberg had a house listed, I think, like $150 million in the community. Right? This person lives in the Beverly Park community, not inside that specific gated community, but in that general area. He said, overpriced gas bills. I received a bill from a gas company today for an 1,800 square foot house that does not use gas for cooking, dryer, only for heat, $1,117. No previous gas bill in history has been above $350, right? So basically a 5x increase during the winter months, or heating a pool. We're all going through this, and something should be done other than paying these ridiculous bills. Now, this guy, he lives in the Bird Street. So the Bird Streets, Leonardo DiCaprio lives there. Like, this is the Bird Street. Leonardo DiCaprio lives somewhere on the screen. I'm not going to say exactly where. But look at this house, $34 million. This house right here, $34 million. Right? All the homes in that neighborhood, 4.99, basically $5 million. The cheapest home in this community is $2.9 million. 2.9 million, 4.7, right? 12.5, 15. You get the idea. Wealthy people. These people generally have a lot of income and they have a lot of money. They have assets. They've done very well for themselves. And they're talking about, the economy changing and gas prices increasing, and they're complaining about gas and energy costs, right? If they are complaining about it, what does the everyday American think, right? Beverly Park, this is Beverly Park. South Beverly Park and North Beverly Park. South Beverly Park is a little more affordable at $5.5 million. You go to North Beverly Park, you start to see a $30 million, 33, 48, $79 million, right? So he lives in the Beverly Park area, probably lives somewhere over here, 2 million, 4 million, somewhere in that area, I'd bet. $21 million. This is not a gated community, $21 million, right? Wealthy people complaining about energy costs. So this to me is, if they are complaining about it, we know where the everyday consumer is. Dan Bilzerian, this all comes in because the friend who sent me those messages sent me a picture of her gas bill, because I asked her, hey, what's your gas bill? What was it last month? And also, editor, remove her name, account number, any personal information in advance of me showing this. $1,400, $1,400. She told me her bill before was, sub $300, about $250, $275, right? So another 5x, 6x increase on just utility bills, right? The difference, say $1,000, $1,100, that's like adding a $200,000 mortgage onto your house, right? This is absolutely crazy. Absolutely nuts. We take a look at this U.S. credit card debt in billions, 2003 to 2008, right? 18. So we look at this, height of the market, right before the real estate bubble crashed, Q4 2008, 866 billion. 866 billion in credit card debt. In 2018, before the stimulus, before QE, before all that, we were exceeding that by about $2 billion, right? 870 billion. However, now we look at where we were, right? Before, credit card interest rates, even 2008, they were around 13, 14%, and then they crashed all the way down to 8, 9%, right? And then it's skyrocketing, exceeding 20%. And now we have $925 billion in credit card debt, right? $925 billion in credit card debt. So we look at, what does this mean? To me, this means that inflation's not over. I think the inflation costs are likely only going to continue to rise. And it's going to get much more expensive to service this debt. We're going to start seeing many more people defaulting on home loans, car payments. We're going to start seeing a lot of problems. So this is why this is the moment to make sure that you're out of high interest rate consumer debt. If you have high interest rate consumer debt, this is a great time to do a balance transfer, start to consider other options. You want to position yourself to get debt free, because the cost of service this debt's only getting much more expensive. When you're debt free, you're going to be able to pivot and move much easier. Plus, it's going to be easier for you to get financing if you want to invest in real estate and do things when problems hit. It looks like they are hitting right now. This is interesting. This is on White House, right? On whitehouse.gov. Biden-Harris administration announces new actions to protect renters and promote rental affordability. Now, they scroll down here, it says over a third of American population, 44 million households, rent their homes. Before the pandemic, well over 2 million eviction filings annually, and roughly 900,000 occurred annually, disproportionately affecting Black women and their children. Since then, rental housing has become less affordable, with some landlords taking advantage of the market conditions to pursue egregious rent increases. I don't see how it's any different. Everything is an egregious rent increase, whether it be food, whether it be clothing. Everything has went up 10, 15, 20% in many cases. So how can it be the landlord that's doing it when, in fact, the cost to service those buildings has only got more expensive? The insurance cost has skyrocketed. Everything just continues to get passed along to the consumer. Whether you're a landlord, whether you are a business owner. Shopify, for example, just emailed me last week saying the price is going up. GoDaddy, I have a website with them. They're hosting it. They just emailed me today saying prices are going up. Everyone is increasing prices, right? So if everyone's increasing prices, it's not just the property owner, it's not just the landlord, it's every business, right? So where does this actually stop? Today's announcements recognized that they are responsible housing providers, large and small, national and local, willing to treat renters fairly, but also holds accountable those who exploit market realities at the cost of renters' housing access and stability. And they go on to say here that, I'll leave this in the show notes, but they want eviction protections They want the right to organize, to allow tenants to basically organize against the landlord. Education, enforcement, enhancement of renters' rights. They want to really build out more of an incentive structure to allow tenants to stand up against landlords, right? So if you are a landlord right now, or you're thinking about being a landlord, you want to know all this information before you go ahead and sign on those loan documents. You want to know your rights as a property owner. You want to know what you can and can't do with that property. You want to know where insurance is likely going, because insurance to me means it's only likely going to be going up. January renewals see hardest property catastrophe reinsurance rates in a generation. We look at what's happening overseas right now. I mean, this is a big problem. You don't think insurance companies are paying attention to this? I do. I think they're paying attention to what's happened. Miami building collapse, Fort Myers, I think the wildfires in California, Louisiana, Katrina. They're looking at all these different things and underwriting risk. That's what they do. And so when we look at this, to me, it seems like property insurance and the cost to insure property is only going to be going up. You want to know all this, right? So you want to make sure you're going to invest in real estate at a really, really good price, a really good valuation, because how can any of these people that are going through these problems make it? When I say any of these people, I mean a majority. How can they make it, right? If you have insurance costs rising, utility bills rising, costs to maintain and service your property rising, and you can't pass those costs on to the consumer, or the consumer, maybe you can. Maybe this actually doesn't go through. Maybe the White House, maybe they don't do this. But the consumer can't afford it. What's going to happen? You're going to start having more evictions. You're going to have more defaults. You're going to have more people unable to pay these costs, right? We're stepping into an affordability situation here. This is pretty interesting too. California is the latest state to contend with property insurance mess. I recently reported on how the property insurance crisis in Florida is posing challenges for commercial real estate, but Florida is far from the only state where climate change-fueled natural disasters are causing chaos for property insurance. The increase in severe weather in California in recent years is making insurance companies in the Golden State reconsider policies there, with some well-known insurers trying to pause all new commercial property policies. One insurer, Allstate, is seeking approval from California's Department of Insurance to stop writing new business coverage in the state entirely. Allstate's move isn't huge news given that it doesn't write many commercial policies in California, but it signals a shift in the state designed by wildfires, drought, and recently flooding and torrential downpours. The recent flooding from the stratospheric rivers in California led to a $31 billion to $34 billion economic losses, including property damage. It's just one natural disaster leading to higher insurance rates for property owners. California's real estate investors say that properties with higher natural disaster exposures, they've been quoted rate increases between 30 and 50%. So if their costs are going up 30 to 50% and they're buying these buildings at a 3 cap or a 4 cap or a 5 cap, meaning if it's $1 million property, it's making $30,000 a year net profit. If you have no mortgage, or $50,000 a year on a 5 cap on $1 million property with no mortgage. So you do the math, you make it $4,000 a month with no mortgage, and your insurance costs are going to be going up 30 to 50%, right? So why would you park $1 million to make $4,000 a month, and then these insurance prices are going to continue to ram up and up and up, and utilities are going up, the cost to manage and maintain these properties going up, and your rights as a property owner is going down? Why would you do that when you could buy treasuries or you could buy T-bills for 4%, 3%, 5%, right? You wouldn't. That's what you would do. You'd go buy those bills and not deal with it, right? Even for properties without catastrophic exposure, rate increases are expected to go from 10 to 25%. Commercial properties in Class A assets. So Class A would be Santa Monica, Beverly Hills, Manhattan. It would be the prime areas. Class B and C, they said it's nearly impossible to get financing. So property insurance problems are spreading in other states too, not just Florida and California. They look to be persistent in real estate challenges moving forward. So this is what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to start seeing a lot of distress. I think we're going to start to see some incredible real estate deals coming very, very soon. I think we're going to see a lot of wealth transfer from small business and middle class Americans. And it's going to be doing so at massive volume. So this is the time. You want to have a really good business. You want to start reading and studying and learning about your market. You want to have a really good game plan, because things look like they're going to be hitting the fan here. Look at layoffs, for example. 334 tech companies with layoffs of 101,000 so far this year. So 101,000 layoffs in 40 days, right? We're February 10th, about 40 days. 101,000 people were laid off. You look at what these numbers are. Google, 12,000. Meta, 11,000. Microsoft, 10,000. Amazon, 10,000. Amazon again, $8,000. Salesforce, $8,000. Dell, $6,600. Philips, $6,000. Booking.com, $4,300. Cisco, $4,100. Philips, $4,000. IBM, $3,900. Twitter, $3,700. Uber, $3,700. SAP, $3,000. Better.com, $3,000. Uber, $3,000. I mean, you get the idea. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs, 101,000 jobs, most of which are in America, laid off. High income earners, right? These high income earners that are spending a lot of money. They were spending a lot of money. They were spending it with tax revenue. They were supporting a lot of other jobs. They're getting laid off, right? So to me, this is signaling fear to come in this market. I think what we're going to start to see is as this affordability crisis continues to worsen, we're going to start to see people forced to sell. So position yourself for success. I think there's, again, going to be some really big opportunities. What do you think about it? Drop it below. Hit the like button, subscribe here, and subscribe to my second channel. If you need help fixing your credit, we'd love to help you at GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. Give us a call at 561-430-5900. You can go to Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok for short form content. You can click the hyperlinks in the banner. Catch you guys next video.